Welcome traders! Thanks for joining us for this exclusive live demo with Taylor Horton from Simpler Trading. Today you'll get an insider look at how Taylor achieved an impressive 147% account growth in just 2 weeks. But that's just the beginning. We're also unveiling Taylor's new Big 3 Squeeze Masterclass, a game-changing approach to trading that eliminates guesswork and targets only the most explosive setups. Stay tuned as we dive into powerful strategies, real-life case studies, and how you can transform your trading with the Big 3 Squeeze. Taylor, the floor is all yours. Take her away.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome and good evening. Daryl, thank you as always for the $1 million intro. All right, guys and gals, let's do a quick sound check. Let me know if you can hear me and see the screens. And before we jump in, why don't y'all let me know here in the chat where you're tuning in from tonight? We have any fellow New Englanders in here? Anyone from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut? Do I have any neighbors in the building? Alrighty, so we have gathered here tonight to talk about what I would call automated A-plus super squeezes. And that's a bit of a mouthful. So we can call these A-plus setups, we can call them A-plus squeezes, or we can call them super squeezes. Now, we did the first class of the Big 3 Squeeze, I believe August of last year. If you took the original class, raise your hand here in the chat. And better yet, if you've used the indicators for the last year, give yourself a little bit of love here in the chat. All right, seeing all you guys and gals take the indicator, go out there all on your own, find and trade some great setups. That's been a very gratifying feeling. My goal when I first built the indicator was to build something that not only myself, but that other traders could use to find powerful setups with consistency. And based on all the feedback that I get from you guys and gals, I think I've hit the nail on the head. So since the original class, I've worked my tail off. All right, I'll keep it PG. I've worked my tail off to improve the indicator, to strengthen it, to make it more explosive, make it more accurate, and more importantly, to simplify it. Plain and simple, these signals work. They're powerful. They're easy to follow. And I think there's something that can help each and every one of you really level up your trading game. With that being said, we are about to push an update tomorrow, and this update makes our job of trading super squeezes that much easier. So let's jump in here. Now, can y'all see the white dots here on the chart? I've got those white dots circled. With the update coming out tomorrow, here's how simple I've made our entire process for finding A-plus setups. All right, I've taken everything on my checklist. I turn that into these white dots that you see here on the chart. Now, here's the power of this. We could take off all the other indicators. I could give you literally nothing but the white dots. I'm confident you can take them and go find some great setups. So you'll notice here, last Thursday on Netflix, we had the white dots printing on the daily time frame along with that 2-hour time frame. And let me know here in the chat if you caught Netflix last week using the Big 3 Squeeze system. We also had the white dots here on the 1-hour and the 30-minute time frames. So 4 different time frames, all printing the white dot at the same exact time. That's my first heads up. Netflix might be gearing up for a pretty explosive move. All my criteria came together, 4 different time frames, all at the same time. For that reason, we bought some call debit spreads on Thursday, and we sold them for a nice profit the following day as Netflix ripped higher. And these are the kinds of moves I love to catch. All right, big, quick, explosive moves. Now, in order for us to catch moves like this, all we got to do is make sure we have the white dots. Simple as that. If we've got the white dots, there might be a big move right around the corner. Now, what about the S&Ps here? If you're wondering why the market's been so strong over the last week or so, notice here, we had the white dots printing on the daily time frame, and then the S&Ps gap up, they rip, and we got ourselves a brand new lifetime high. Same thing here for QQQ on the weekly. We had the white dots for a few weeks, and then boom, off goes the QQQ into brand new lifetime highs. What about Broadcom? All right, you all saw the big move that Broadcom made after earnings. Sure enough, we had the white dots here on the weekly chart a few weeks before that big move. So the point that I'm trying to make is when we get these white dots, we can catch some pretty explosive moves here in the market. All right, so what is the white dot? When the white dot is printing on the chart, we have all the criteria for what I would call an A+ squeeze. All right, and you can think of an A+ squeeze like a squeeze on steroids. It's a squeeze that is juicing, or we can call that a super squeeze. In order to get the super squeeze, the indicator takes into consideration 15 different data points. Do we have a big three squeeze? Do we have a big three buy signal? And do we have all of my criteria for trend, structure, and momentum on my checklists? I've got these labels here you can put on your charts. The labels are basically the checklist. We got a structure label, we've got a momentum label, a label for the squeeze, a label for the signals. I'm at the point in my career, the only time I pull the trigger, the only time I even think about taking a trade is when all that criteria lines up. If I don't have all the criteria, I do not have a trade. So it's really that simple. And that removes pretty much all of the guesswork from my entire approach. So since I finalized the updates to the system about a month ago, I've taken 22 of these super squeezes. I've got 17 wins, 5 losses, a win rate of 76%, an average win of 64%, and an average loss of 33%. All by doing nothing other than sitting back, waiting for my white dots. So I really think this is something that all of you can achieve. Now, here's what's great about this. I'm taking these setups wherever I can get them. For these 22 trades here, I traded different stocks. I traded different time frames. I had some swing trades. I had some day trades. I did different strategies like debit spreads. I did some butterflies. The one thing they all had in common, every single one of these trades, they all had the white dot, right? They were all A+ setups. And out of curiosity, how many of you here tonight would consider yourself a day trader? And how many of you here tonight would consider yourself to be a swing trader? I'm just curious. When I first started trading, I was mainly a swing trader. I'm focusing on weekly and daily time frames. I'm looking at monthly charts. I'm at the point now where I will take these setups wherever I can find them. It might be a day trade. It might be a swing trade. That's made my plate of opportunity on a weekly basis much, much bigger. Right? A bigger plate of opportunity equals more trades. If those trades are all A+ setups, that means more cash in my account. So let's check out a few examples here. And again, I've got nothing but the white dots on the charts. I don't have the buy and sell signals. I don't have the big three squeeze. We've just got the white dots. I want to drill that into your head. If you see the white dot, there might be a big move right around the corner. So on T-Mobile here, we had the white dots on the daily time frame, along with a few other time frames, and we bought the calls here at 410. And then a few days later, we caught the push, the squeeze fired, and we sold those at 625 to lock in a 50% profit. Going back about a month ago, Netflix had the white dots here on the 15-minute time frame. All right, so I've gone from a daily chart down to a 15-minute. I bought the 635 calls at 355, and the following morning at the open, I caught a push, I caught a gap, and I sold those calls at 935 to lock in a 165% profit. This trade here on Coinbase, this was good for a 50% profit, And on this one, we had the white dots here on the 4-hour chart. Now, what about getting short? Right, what about the bears? These can be just as easy. Meta had the white dots here on the 5-minute time frame. That combination, that can make for a great day trade. I bought some puts here, and I sold those for just shy of a 50% profit in a little bit less than 30 minutes. So whether I'm getting long or short, whether it's a daily chart or a 5-minute, whether it be a swing trade or a day trade, notice how I'm doing the same exact thing over and over and over again. See how repeatable I've made my process, right? That's a big key in trading. My goal is to be a specialist, trade nothing but setups with edge over and over and over again, and try to master that one thing. That one thing for me, of course, is the A+ squeeze. All right, so how did we get to this point with the indicators and the current system? And what does a finalized system look like after the update? I started back in 2016-ish with the original TTM squeeze and the stacked EMAs label. I took that foundation and I slowly built on that foundation. Eventually, I added the big 3 buy and sell signals. So the green bar or the green arrow, that's my big 3 buy signal. And the red bar or the red arrow, that's my big 3 sell signal. These help me figure out the short-term path of least resistance, the buy and the sell signals. Then I tweaked the original squeeze to my liking, and I made my own version, the big 3 squeeze. This has different compression settings than the original squeeze and the Squeeze Pro, along with a modified momentum line that's based on a custom MACD. So I built my own buy and sell signals. I made my own version of the squeeze. And then I turned my checklist into the labels you see here. I've got a label for my scoring system. I've got labels for my buy and sell signals, labels for the squeeze, along with labels for my trend, structure, and momentum checklists. And that's how I went from the original foundation back in 2016 to the system and the tools that you see here right now. And I got to this point by studying as many squeezes as humanly possible. All right, I went back and studied thousands of squeezes, and I took notes on the common characteristics of the ones that work the best. All right, I basically reverse engineered explosive squeezes, and I built my entire system around what's proven to work with consistency. All right, not what I think works, not what I think should work. I built it around what's actually proven to work time and time again for year after year. And now with these white dots here, I've really simplified the entire process for us to the point, guys, where frankly, we don't even need all the other labels, right? We just need these white dots. Our goal should be to trade nothing but A+ setups. If there's no white dot, then guess what? We just don't have a trade, right? It really is that simple. And like I said, this eliminates all of the guesswork, all of the mental back and forth for my entire process. I've got my custom big 3 squeeze histogram. I've got my buy and my sell signals. I've got the brand new white dots, and I've got 2 labels in the top left-hand corner. That is all that a trader needs. Couple more examples here, and I do want to spend some time tonight in the live charts. So I'm going to get through the slides here. I'm going to talk about the upcoming class. When I open up the live charts, I'm going to call on you guys and gals for a few chart requests. And I want to check your chart requests for the A+ setups. But all right, on NVIDIA here, this was before the big stock split. We had the white dots here on the 30-minute time frame. All right, so 30-minute squeeze. And the white dots tell me this might be a super squeeze. A lot of explosive potential. My trend, my structure, my momentum criteria, it's all perfect. I've got the buy signal. I've got the perfect score. We found that 30-minute squeeze. And on this one, we did a call butterfly. $10 wide, center strike at 950. And we bought that call fly for 58 cents. And then the following day, off goes Netflix, or NVIDIA rather, squeeze fired. And we sold that call fly for $1.20. Good for a cool 100% profit. This was from, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We found the white dots here on the 2-hour time frame in AI. So again, like I said, different stocks, different time frames. I'm pulling the trigger for the same exact reason every single trade. White dots on the 2-hour time frame. And we had to sift through a little bit of chop on this one. We were patient. Eventually, the squeeze fired. We caught the push. And we took our profits of 70%. All right, now what about losing trades? And I asked you guys this in the webinar last week. I'll ask you the same question again. How many of you here tonight take pride in being a good loser? The better loser you can become, the more profitable you're going to be. It is not my goal, it is not my focus for every single trade that I take to work. They might fit all the criteria, they might check off all the boxes. The reality of trading, not every trade's going to work. So what's my job? My job is to sit back, wait for the A+ setup, and when that setup lines up, I've got to jump in there and pull the trigger. From there, I've got the complete understanding and the full acceptance. Not every trade's going to work. All right, so I'm thinking very much about every series of 25 trades. When I take my entries, when I take my exits, when I take these setups, my only goal at the end of that series of trades, I want to come out profitable. So on MRK here, the Merc, we found the daily squeeze and the white dots. We jumped in, we bought the calls, and we sat through 4, 5, 6 days of chop. On that first blue candle that I circled, we lost our white dot. All right, the white dot got me into the trade, and now I've got no more white dot. That tells me something has changed. That might be a structure thing, that might be a momentum thing. Point being, something's changed to the point where MRK is no longer an A+ setup. It no longer fits all my criteria. At that point in time, we've got to strongly consider taking off that trade. And we did exactly that. We sold our calls. We took about a 55, 56% loss by taking off that trade when I lost my criteria. Look at that big flush that I missed. All right. I avoided a much bigger loss than necessary simply by following the white dot. The white dot got me into the trade. I lost my white dot, and then I hit the road, and I moved on to greener pastures. And right now we have an open trade here in the room in Google. Google popped up on Monday with the white dots and the squeeze here on the 2-day time frame. All right, so from what you've seen so far, you understand that a white dot equals a super squeeze. Okay, cool. Now how do I go about finding these setups? Of all the things I built, right, all the indicators, this one right here is my absolute favorite. And I think it'll be your favorite as well. These are my custom watch list columns here on Thinkorswim. And I've seen a lot of indicators over the years. I've never seen anything quite like this. Right? We can set these columns up for as many time frames as we'd like. And then the columns will tell us in real time whether or not we have any A+ squeeze across any given time frame. And I'll show you these columns on my live charts here in just a minute. But a green A+ is bullish and a red A+ is bearish. And I've got a few other things here in the columns, but frankly, the only thing that matters and the only thing we pay attention to in trade are the A+ signals. If I don't have an A+ in any column, I do not have a trade. I've made my job that simple. So here's how great this is, right? I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you're sitting at your desk last Thursday, right? You're sipping your coffee. Maybe you're like me, you got some Bob Marley playing, you're watching the watch list columns, and then boom, here comes Netflix. Green A+ on the daily, 2-hour, 1-hour, and the 30-minute time frame. All at the same exact time. What does that tell me? That tells me in a fraction of a second, on 4 different time frames, I've got a super squeeze setting up. I don't have to check my trend criteria. I don't got to open up my momentum checklist. I don't have to check the trend. In a fraction of a second, I've got 4 green A pluses. That's all I got to know. The daily, the 2-hour, the 1-hour, and the 30-minute time frame, they check off all the boxes. Squeeze, buy signal, all the criteria. A potential super squeeze. I don't have to think. I've just got to react. And then here goes Netflix, right? Squeeze, buy signal, white dot on the daily time frame. Squeeze, buy signal, white dot on our 2-hour time frame. Same thing on the 1-hour, same thing on the 30-minute. These are some of the best setups you can find. All right, what's better than 1 A plus squeeze? 2, 3, or 4 of them on the same exact time frame at the same exact time across different time frames. That's just about as good as it gets. So this is basically your job now. Right? Well, welcome to your new job. We're not here to think. We're not here to have opinions or biases. Instead, our only job is to sit back, enjoy our coffee, wait for the A plus setups, and then we take action. Now, keep in mind, just because we find an A plus setup, that doesn't mean that we jump in head first immediately, right? There's other things you want to take into consideration: the quality of the entry, the strategy selection, time till expiration, a few different things, etc., etc. All of which I'll be teaching in the upcoming masterclass. But the first and the most important step, of course, wait for the A plus squeeze to line up on the watch list. All right, and then aside from the A plus setup columns, we also have these columns here for the Big 3 scoring system. Right, this takes all my criteria. It grades the chart based on that criteria, with the best possible score being a positive 12. And we can also set these up for as many time frames as we'd like. Now, here's what I do with these. This is pretty cool. We only want to take super squeezes in the strongest parts of the market. Or if we're getting short, we want to take them in the weakest parts of the market. So using my scoring system, I've got a spreadsheet here that I put together every night after the close. This spreadsheet ranks the indices, sectors, and the stocks from strongest to weakest based on that scoring system. We're taking our score from 5 different time frames. From there, we get a total score. The strongest total score is a positive 60. All right, so this is awesome. Every night, I can figure out who's leading, who's lagging, and really, which parts of the market should I try to focus on. During the class, I'll teach you how to take these watch list columns and build out that spreadsheet every night. And as of late, who's had the strongest sector? By far, the semiconductors. Right, every single night on the spreadsheet there, SMH has a 60 out of 60, a 59, a 58. SMH along with XLK, they've been the top dogs. So therefore, if you go look at a name like NVIDIA or Micron, Qualcomm, Broadcom, AMAT, or even LRCX here, there's been a handful of really, really solid A plus setups. And we actually have one on LRCX here on the weekly right now. So that one I would love to buy on a bit of a dip. All right, now quiz time. I'm warning you, this will be a very difficult quiz. I'm going to show you a few different time frames, a few different charts. If we have the super squeeze signals on the chart, all right, aka the white dot, type a yes into the chat. If we don't have the super squeeze setup, type a no into the chat. Are y'all ready? It's a very difficult test here. First up is Tesla on the daily squeeze. Yay or nay? Is that one an A plus setup? No. Nope. Yeah, we've got a squeeze. Cool. We've got a buy signal. A little bit cooler. Where's my white dot? If you want to cheat, look at your label here in the top left-hand corner. If that label's on green or red, we don't have an A plus setup. So you all got question 1 correct. Tesla is not a super squeeze. All right, next up is, drum roll please, Microsoft on the weekly. What about that one, guys? Yep, all day long. We've got the white dot. The A plus setup label is green. That totally fits the bill. Trend, structure, momentum, squeeze, buy signal, score of 12. Everything coming together for a really solid weekly squeeze. And you'll notice last time that Microsoft had the white dot on the weekly, she got a pretty good push going. So yes, Microsoft is an A plus setup. Next up, Apple on the weekly. A plus or nay? A plus or nay? Nope. Yeah, David, you're right. Nope. Now, that one was a trick question. We don't even have a weekly squeeze here. No squeeze, no A plus setup. All right, couple more for you. What about Google here on the 2-day time frame? Yay or nay? Google would be a yes. All right, we've got the white dot. The label is green. The A plus setup label is green. I've got everything that I'm looking for. It is that easy. And the last one for you here, AMD on the daily squeeze. A plus or not? What do y'all think? Nope. Sorry, AMD, we can't do it. You're not quite good enough. No buy signal, no white dot, and a big 3 score of 3. That's a 3 out of 12. That's kind of like your kid brings home a report card with a D minus, and he's like, "Hey, mom and dad, look what I did." And then you're sitting there like, "Yeah, that could be a lot better." I'm not saying that I was that kid, but one can imagine. But all right, so like I said at the beginning of the webinar, the initial goal when I built the system was to build something that other traders can use successfully, and I think I've done exactly that. It's a great feeling when I get all this feedback through Twitter and email and Instagram. And I'll tell you what, it's an even better feeling when I see you guys and gals take the setups, take the indicators, take the system, and then all by yourself, you're going out there, you're finding setups, and you're nailing profitable trades. All right, even in my own room, in the Compounding Growth Mastery, I've got folks in there every day. They're calling out these super squeezes, and they're calling out things I don't even see. All right, Andrew, if you're in here, Andrew, one of our best trades this year was Best Buy. That was a nice, fast, easy trade. I never even saw Best Buy. But Andrew saw it in the room. He brought it to our attention. And again, an example of how powerful and simple the system is, that I really think anyone can take it and go find some great success. So I appreciate all of you who've been around for the journey since day one. And now I want to get moving over to some live charts. So before we do that, I'm going to bang out a few more slides here. We'll talk about the upcoming class and the different packages. Then we'll jump over here to the charts. I'll show you my watch list. I'll show you my updated spreadsheet, the strongest and the weakest. And then we'll hang out for a bit and we'll wrap it up here with some Q&A. So a few more slides left, and then we get on to the fun part. All right, now to be as honest as possible, teaching classes can be a lot of fun. They're also a lot of work. So with that being said, after this class, I want to shift 100% of my focus back to nothing but trading. All right, trading and posting alerts in the rooms. So with that in mind, no promises, but there's a really strong chance this is the last time I will ever do a class on these indicators and on the system. And for those of you who took the first class, this might be your last chance to get some good in-depth training on all the updates and the strategies and a few things I've never taught before. So for the upcoming Big 3 Squeeze Masterclass, we have the basic package and the elite package. Now the prices you see here, those are for you folks who don't already have the indicators and those of you who aren't a member of our rooms here at Simpler. If you have the indicators or you're a member of any room here at Simpler, if you click on the simplertrading.com/masterclass tab, you can open up that page and find your discounted prices. So in the basic package here for $847, you get the original Big 3 Squeeze class I did last year. You get all of the Big 3 indicators, including the update tomorrow for the white dots. You also get the Big 3 buy and sell signals and the original Big 3 signals class. Aside from that, you get full access to the Big 3 Squeeze Masterclass that I am doing on Saturday, June 29th at 10 a.m. Central. And like I said, in both packages, you get all the indicators. And these are available on both Thinkorswim and TradingView. And when I jump over to my charts here in a minute, I'll show you all the indicators. You also get a recorded installation session. That way you can set up all the indicators, get your charts ready for the Saturday class and the bonus classes. Also keep in mind, once you own the indicators, you own them for life. Not only that, you get any and all updates I push for the indicators completely free of charge. So any future update, you get that sent straight to your inbox. So for the Saturday, June 29th masterclass, that's where I'll do a full deep dive into the inner workings of the indicators, the system. What is our trend criteria? What is all the structure criteria? What goes into the scoring system? Why do these things matter? How to use the tools, etc., etc. And as I mentioned, for those of you who took the original class, I would highly recommend signing up here for the new training. We've taken everything we had in the original class, and I think I've made it significantly better. With that, there's a new process, there's new tools, and with these changes, we now have a much bigger plate of opportunity. So this will be the first time I've ever taught how to use these setups for day trading, how to use them for 0 day till expiration, and even how to use them for futures trading. So if you've taken the indicators in the past, or you've taken the class before, and you're finding success, I really think I can help you turn things up a few notches and make you that much better in the upcoming live training. If you're following the old system from last year, I don't want y'all to get left in the dust, so to say. And then for the elite package at $1297, you get everything in the basic package. So all the previous classes, all the indicators, any future updates, the Saturday class. In addition to that, you get 3 additional masterclass sessions. So masterclass session 1 on July 2nd, that's all about swing trading these A+ squeezes. Swing trading timeframes, different strategies. When do we do a butterfly? When do we sell puts? When do we do a debit spread, etc., etc. And then masterclass session 2 on July 9th, that's all about day trading and 0 day till expiration. 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute time frames, the day trading checklist, when do I buy calls, etc., etc. And the third and final masterclass on July 11th, that's where I tie everything together for you. We talk a bit about daily best practices, and we conclude our training. If y'all have any more questions, you can reach out to our support team here via email at support@simplertrading.com or give them a call at 512-266-8569. And lastly, before we jump into the live charts here, and I want your participation in the live charts, we also have interest-free payments with PayPal credit. So add the product you'd like to your cart, click on the PayPal credit button, and you can apply for a line of credit through PayPal with 0% interest for 6 months. All right, y'all. So again, the goal from day one, the way I thought about it was, when I'm a dad someday, and God willing, my kids show some kind of interest in trading, what can I give them? What can I give them that's simple enough to follow, but also powerful enough to eventually lead to some good, consistent profits? And I do believe in my heart that I accomplished that exact goal. So with that all being said, let's open up the live charts here. And the first thing I'll show you is that gem Netflix. Right now for both packages, basic and elite, you get every indicator you see on my chart. Right. You get the big three buy and sell signals. You get the white dots or the super squeeze. You get the squeeze labels. You get the modified squeeze histogram. You get these multi-time frame labels up here. Right, that's for our buy and sell signals across different time frames. You get these labels, and those are for the squeeze, the big three squeeze across different time frames. You get the bull and the bear targets. You get the trailing stop line. You get the whole kit and caboodle. You also get a few scans, which are very helpful. So you get all the above. Now, first things first, let's take a look here at the score sheet. So I updated this before the webinar. The theme as of late for the indices, S&Ps and QQQ, they just lead the way higher. Right? They've been the strongest by far, while the Dow Jones, the RSP, and the IWM, they have very much lagged behind. Now, today was kind of interesting. The S&Ps get a 46 out of 60. The Dow Jones actually gets second place here, which is very surprising. Dow Jones at the 45 out of 60. We've got a lot of progress here in the RSP with a 38. The QQQ dropped from a 60 to a 38. And the small caps, they still kind of stink up the place. They're getting a negative 21. So today we saw a little bit of a change where tech got a little bit softer. Dow got a little bit stronger, meaning potentially there might be some interesting rotation coming our way here sometime soon. If we check the sectors, also interesting. For about the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been nothing but tech and semis. XLK had a 60, SMH had a 60. Today we saw a little bit of a change where first place is now communications XLC. Second place is XLY. SMH goes from a 60 to a 36, and XLK drops down to a 38 out of 60. Again, potentially some signs of a little bit of rotation. If we go check the money makers, right, the big boys, you got Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. They've all got pretty respectable scores. And then you've got Tesla with a 2. Right. What do I do with a 2 out of 60? I don't do anything at all. I don't buy it. I don't short it. NVIDIA down to 36, Apple down to 28, and AMD hanging out down there to 19. And then we've got WMB, Dick's Sporting Goods, Walmart, Honeywell, BKNG, BAC, Spotify, and a few more there at the top of the board for the individual stocks. So again, today was a pretty interesting shift here. And now if we go back to the charts here, let me show you a few that I like for tomorrow. One that I'm watching here is Google on the 2-day time frame. And we bought some calls here on Monday. The only thing you have to focus on, just those white dots. Now, you got all the labels, you got the squeeze histogram. You can ignore all of that. Focus on nothing but the white dots. We grabbed some calls here on the Google 2-day squeeze, and then Microsoft here on the weekly. Brand new A+ setup. Like I mentioned, we find an A+ setup. That doesn't mean I jump in and buy some calls, head first. I want to make sure I'm working a good risk reward. Right? That means I got to get a good entry. I'll talk about that more in the class. I love the setup here for Microsoft. I don't so much love the entry. So that's when I want to buy on a little bit of a pullback, if I can get such a thing. Now, Amazon, here's a lower time frame. I've also got a long here in Amazon. If we check the watchlist columns, right, let me detach that. All right, I can already see that for tomorrow in Amazon, we have the green A+ down there on that 2-hour time frame. So I go open up that 2-hour time frame, and boom, there we go. Squeeze, buy signal, and the white dot, which potentially can trigger a move towards 190-ish for the big Amazon. Now, what else sticks out here? Right. What's better than one A+ setup? 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Just like Netflix from last week. APO here is kind of interesting, right? We've got the green A+ on the daily, on the 4-hour, on the 2-hour, and that 30-minute time frame. If I go check the daily squeeze on APO, right, I've got the white dots, and we've had them here for a while. If I go check the 4-hour, I've got the white dots here on the 4. If I go check the 2, I've got them here on the 2-hour. And if I go check them here on the 30, there they are again. So it's pretty similar here to Netflix. 1, 2, 3, 4 different time frames, all cranking out that super squeeze criteria. All right, so what I love about these watch list columns is, all right, if I open up a blank workspace here, let me think of a random stock. What's a random stock? Boeing. Watch how quick the process is. I type in Boeing. I hit enter. I've got no trade. It's just that simple. I don't have to go check anything. I don't have an A+. What if I go check, say, Caterpillar? Yeah, I've got no trade. I don't have an A+ on the weekly. I don't have one on a lower time frame. I don't have a swing trade. I don't have a day trade. I've got me a big fat nothing. The more things I can say no to, the more cash I can save for the stocks that actually fit my criteria. Now, if I put Mara on the watch list, okay, now you got my attention. I've got the green A+ on the daily and that 2-hour time frame. That does not mean I buy Mara. It doesn't mean Mara explodes higher. It just means that Mara, on that daily and that 2-hour time frame, there could be some explosive potential here. So what I want to do now, you guys and gals, throw out a couple different names here. I'll throw them on the watch list columns. Let's see if we can find a few A+ squeezes. Let me see what y'all got for me. All right, Kevin, Micron. Nothing. No bigger time frame, no smaller time frame. The only thing I can do on Micron for now is just sit back and watch. Sit back and wait for an A+ setup on any given time frame. SMCI, there's a good one. SMCI. Nothing just yet. Now, the other colors here, right, the light blue B3, the dark blue, the orange, I'll teach you about that in the class. Those are not A+ setups. They might be close, right? They might be an A or an A-, but they ain't A+. A+ or bust. ASML. All right, now we're talking. All right, now you've got my attention. Green A+ on the weekly and the 4-hour. So I'm going to go take a peek at ASML. And if I check that 4-hour time frame, yeah, nice call out here. Good call out. White dot super squeeze on the 4-hour. Ooh, that's a nice one here on the weekly. Now, I do think on the weekly squeeze, the entry could be a little better. The earlier we can be, the lower our risk and the bigger our reward. We got the first white dot all the way back here. That's where you take that entry. But yeah, good call out here for ASML. I'm actually going to take that one and put it on my watch list. So I appreciate you. Costco. All right, Costco and Walmart. Nothing on Costco. On Walmart, we have the 30-minute and the 5-minute. Now, those can make for a great day trade. 1 hour, 30, 15-minute, 5-minute. If I've got the green or the red A+, I'm thinking a bit more day trade. I'm going to get in. I'm going to get my piece. Then I'm going to hit the road and move on to the next one. So 30-minute and 5-minute here for the Walmart. All right, a few more here. Y'all get the point. BAC. Nice. All right, nice. We got the 4 hour. Let's go take a peek over here. And there we go. The white dot squeeze on the 4 hour. Does that mean that I take BAC? No. Does that mean that BAC explodes? No. It just means at the moment, we have all the criteria of what could be a very explosive setup. What I'll teach you in the class is the rest of that checklist. We've got to go check the sector. We've got to go check the indices. We got to check all the other time frames. But at face value, there could be something to work with here on that 4 hour. All right, few more here. Steve, what's going on, Steve? Steve has Marvell. All right, Steve, let's find out here. The weekly. A+ on the weekly for Marvell. We pull up our weekly chart. And what do you know? We've got that beautiful combo. The almighty white dot. All right, couple more here. I think I see Marriott, M-A-R. All right, so Marriott will be the final one here. M-A-R, and here we go. Nothing just yet. Doesn't mean that Marriott can't go higher. Does not mean Marriott's not going to get a huge breakout tomorrow. It just means at the moment, none of these time frames fit my A+ criteria. If my goal is to take nothing but A+ squeezes, nothing but super squeezes, I don't have a trade just yet. Right? I'm going to hold on to my cash. I'm going to sit tight. And then if I find something like that ASML, beautiful. Now I can take that cash I saved and potentially do something here off the weekly and that 4 hour time frame. All right, so zero guesswork, zero opinion, no biases. If you call out Meta here, I've got nothing on Meta. The entire process should and really can be that simple. Nothing but A+ squeezes, trade after trade, day after day, week after week, month after month. What I'll teach you in the class is how to pick the best ones from the bunch and then how to take a proper entry. If you can take a proper entry on nothing but a super squeeze setup over the course of 20, 25 trades, in my experience, I'm very confident you will come out on top, a profitable trader. And then real quick here, let me look at the futures, just because I am curious. All right, S&P's farting around, and the NQ not doing too much. Now look at the NQ here. Right, I love these on the futures. We had the white dots a few weeks ago on the weekly squeeze, and off goes the NQ. So a few examples there, and I'll get the I will get the slideshow back up here. And I'll get caught up here in the chat. If you got any questions, you have anything you want to take a look at, I've got you covered. And as always, I appreciate you all coming out here tonight. So it's been a very gratifying and fun experience to go on this squeeze journey together. So I appreciate all the time, all the support, and all the effort. All right, a little bit of Q&A here. Alan, do I get in when I see the first white dot? Yeah, so that's a great question, Alan. What the white dot tells me is my criteria is lined up. So it's never a guarantee, it's never a promise, but probabilities-wise, we have the characteristics that can lead to an explosive move. But then I've got other things I have to take into consideration. I want to check the indices. I want to check the sector the stock belongs to. If I've got the A plus dot on the 15-minute time frame, I'm going to check my bigger time frames. I'm going to check my smaller time frames. There's a few things we have to do before we can actually decide to jump in and trade the white dot squeeze. But the first step, of course, is just finding the white dot. Kalpana, is there a criteria for how many white dots we need? As a rule of thumb, right, when you think of the squeeze, you think of compression. Right? We are building up energy, gearing up for what could be a pretty explosive move. As a good rule of thumb, I like to see about 3 to 4 to 5 bars of that squeeze printing. There's no set in stone guideline. And again, a lot of it has to do with the bigger picture. If I have a white dot on my 30-minute time frame and that's all I've got, right, my weekly chart looks iffy, my daily chart's not too hot, yeah, I'll probably wait for a few more candles. Give me a name like Netflix from last week, where the monthly chart all the way down to the 1 minute were as bullish as possible. I'm taking that thing on one dot. Okay, you can get me in there on that very first dot. So good question there. Do I ever have dots to go short? Yeah, so think of the... I'll go find that slide for you real quick. The Meta example. Now, granted, we're in a bull market, so the bigger plate of opportunity has definitely been on the buy side, but just as simple. If I have the red bar or the red arrow, right, the big 3 sell signal, and I've got the white dot, in my book, that's the perfect short and the only thing I'll short. Trend, momentum, structure, the signals, everything's bearish. We've got the squeeze. That can potentially explode to the downside. And that's the beauty of it. If we're in a big trending market, we can take these for swing trades on bigger time frames. If we're in a downtrending market, we can take them for shorts just as easy. When we get into a bit more of a range-bound, choppy market, 30-minute, 1 hour, 15-minute, 5-minute squeezes, we can still find a nice plate of opportunity on those lower time frames. All right, back down to the sales slides here. All right, what else I got? Billy, what's up, Billy? With 3, 4, 5, or 6 dots, when do I take the trade? The goal every time I take the trade, I want to work a great risk versus reward. So when and where I pull the trigger is simply a function of that risk reward, right? If I'm wrong, I want to take a paper cut. And if I'm right in the squeeze fires, I want to get a great bang for my buck, right? I want to get a big outsized return. So I'll talk about that in the class. Is a good rule of thumb. I want to take my entry on the white dot as close to the 21 EMA as possible. That's the white moving average on my chart. As close to that 21 as possible. Lewis, on the white dot signals, how do I decide between out the money or in the money options? That's a good question. So, and again, I'm talking about this all in the class. The strategy selection, that's a function of 2 things. One, affordability. Affordability as it relates to your account size. And then also the implied volatility. Right? If the IV is just crazy jacked up, I'm thinking a bit more put credit spread or maybe a butterfly. If the IV is super low, then I want to buy those options, right? I want to buy an out the money call. I want to do an out the money debit spread. So it's a pricing thing, and it is also a implied volatility thing. As far as, okay, what strategy do I actually take on this one given setup? All right, let me keep on scrolling through here, folks. Okay, Hannah, that's an awesome question. So the white dots will print so long as all the criteria lines up. Whether that be right on top of that 21 EMA, or we are 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% above that 21. If all the criteria lines up and we have the squeeze, we get the white dot. With that being said, our job from there, make sure we get a really good entry. So if we're, way above that 21 EMA, if I have the white dots, I'm probably going to hold off, right? I might miss a big move, but I'd rather wait for a pullback. I'd rather wait for a spot to buy it, where I can then work the ideal risk reward. Can I please evaluate Amazon? Yeah, we'll do that real quick here. So the major thing I'd watch on Amazon tomorrow would be the 2-hour time frame. Right, if we put Amazon here in the columns again, it has a lot of squeezes. The only one right now that fits the super squeeze criteria would be our 2-hour time frame. So therefore, tomorrow, I will wake up and I will watch the 2-hour time frame here for Amazon. Now, with that being said, if they can fire that 2-hour squeeze, then they can wake up the 4-hour, and then maybe they can wake up the 2-day, they can wake up the 3-day, they can wake up the weekly. When you've got 3, 4, 5 squeezes all setting up at once, when one of them fires, that can kind of trigger the domino effect. And that can lead to a very big move, right? Think Netflix last week, or even think T-Mobile from a few weeks ago. Right? T-Mobile had the white dot on the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day, the daily, the 4-hour, the 2-hour, and the 1-hour time frame. She was what I would call a stud. And yeah, James, so we're combining the white dot with the big 3 buy and sell signals, right? The green or the red candles and the arrows. If I have a white dot and a green candle, green arrow, that's my A+ setup to get long. Like the Meta example, if I have the white dot and the red arrow, red bar, that's my A+ setup to get short. All right, y'all, I'll keep scrolling here. We'll do a few more. We are making good time. Okay, Oswald, good question. So the A+ setup criteria takes into consideration whether or not we have the buy or the sell signal. Now, granted, you could actually take them off your charts and just keep the white dot, but I like having the buy and the sell signals. It gives me a little bit of context. But they are part of that super squeeze criteria. And yeah, Papillon, in the class, I'm talking about all the criteria for trend. So I'm giving you the entire checklist. Everything on my trend checklist, everything on my structure checklist, everything on the momentum checklist. And for our scoring system, I'm giving you all of that as well. All right, what goes into our 12-point system on that fancy spreadsheet you saw? Yeah, so Andrew, as far as what time frame do we trade these on, that's a personal preference thing. And frankly, that's why I think I've built a really good indicator. Right? If you're a swing trader, you're going to live and breathe the white dot setups on the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day, and the daily time frames. Those can make for great trades that last anywhere from 4 to 5 days to about 4 to 5 weeks. Now, if you're a day trader or a scalper, you want to live and breathe the A+ setup down on the 1 hour, the 30, the 15, or the 5. My favorite, so to say, the daily, 4-hour, and the 1 hour. But like I mentioned earlier, I've got no biases. I take them where I can get them. If I get it on the 15-minute, awesome. I'm taking a day trade. If I've got them on the weekly chart, beautiful. I'm taking some bigger picture swing trades. So it's all a matter of your favorite time frame. And yeah, Raj, on the scanner, so we have the scans and the watch list columns. On the watch list columns, that's where you can build out your own watch list. All right, your favorite stocks, things of that nature. And then on the scans look for the A plus setup across the entire market. So the NASDAQ, the S&Ps, the entire options market, those results all come up on the scans. So if they're out there, Raj, we will find them. Hannah, a great question here. What are the reasons the white dots wouldn't work? I love that question because something changed. Think of the example I showed you in MRK. I found that daily squeeze, we had the white dots, and then about 4 or 5 days later, something changed. It might have been a structure thing, it might have been a momentum thing, but point being, something changed. We no longer have an A plus setup. At that point, I have to strongly consider dumping that trade and moving on to greener pastures. And that's the key with this system and any system out there. We take every trade with the full understanding they're not all going to work. Think in terms, Hannah, of every 20, 25 trades you take. That's where the real power is. 25 trades in a row, nothing but A plus super squeezes, good entries, good exits. Are they all going to work? No. But if you're taking good entries and exits, the ones that work, they will far outweigh the ones that don't work. And that's the fun part, right? We find out which ones work and which ones don't. It is part of the business. Couple more here. Mark, what's going on, Mark? What is the lowest time frame this works on successfully? In my own experience, I've had some great trades. I've had some great trades as low as the 2-minute time frame. I won't claim to trade the 1-minute time frame all that often, but when I'm doing my futures trading, I've had some great trades this year with 5-minute, 3-minute, 2-minute squeezes on the S&P futures, the NQ. A lot of times before the cash market even opens. The smaller the time frame, the faster the trade. But from a monthly squeeze down to a 2-hour squeeze, it's basically the same everything, right? Same indicator, same signal, same entry, same exit. Your 2-minute squeeze will definitely be a little faster than your weekly squeeze. So it's a speed thing. But I've had some great trades on 5-minute, 3-minute, and a 2-minute. Scott, how many time periods in a squeeze is needed to print a white dot? Just one bar. If we've got one dot of compression, we are one bar into a squeeze, and momentum, structure, trend, all the criteria lines up, we will get the white dot on the first bar of that squeeze. Makes my job of finding the big setups a little bit easier that way. I don't got to take them immediately, but I can find them early and I can keep an eye on them. The exit signal, we take our exits either on a push into the upside target. Now the targets on my charts, and we'll wrap it up here, guys. The targets on my charts are the green and the red lines. If I'm getting long Google on the 2-day squeeze, my target is that green line around 183 and change. So that's my reward. And then more often than not, the exit would be a break of that 21 EMA. Potentially a bit earlier if I happen to lose my white dots. But we've got the targets right there on the charts. All right, folks, I'll do one more question here, and then I'll make sure you all have my email. All right. For masterclass session, how long is each session? And can I watch them anytime after I buy the package? Yeah, so the great thing is every single class, the Saturday class and the 3 additional classes, they're all recorded and they're all posted on the website. So in the event you can't watch them in real time, you can go back and watch the recording as your schedule allows, which makes it nice and easy. And then I'm seeing a question here as far as the length of the sessions. So the Saturday masterclass, that'll be anywhere from 2 to 2.5 to maybe 3 hours. I would say 3 hours is definitely tops. And then the 3 additional masterclasses, those will all be about an hour and change long. So the longer portion is a Saturday class. And then for the 3 bonus classes, those will be a little bit shorter. During which, of course, you can ask all the questions. We'll do some Q&A and all kinds of fun stuff. All right, last question here from Alan. If I took your prior class and I have the indicators, what else do I need to do today to be update with your class? So Alan, tomorrow morning, when we push out the update here for the white dots, add the white dots to your charts. And then from there, I would strongly suggest considering taking the training. Like I said earlier, there's a pretty good chance we're not going to do this again. Right? A class on the Big 3 squeeze and a class on the system. So tomorrow morning, download the updated version. At some point, you'll get the email. Throw that bad boy on your charts. And then I would sign up for the training, and we'll take things up a few notches for you. We're going to turn it up a notch. But all right, folks, let's call it a webinar here. It's about 9 o'clock Eastern, so we made good time. And again, a big thank you. I appreciate all the time and effort. I appreciate you guys and gals tuning in for the first time tonight. If you're a member of my room, I appreciate you being there. I appreciate all the support. And yeah, I'm really excited. From my standpoint, the proof is in the pudding. Right? It's one thing if I can take my own indicator and go out there and nail some good trades. I should be able to do that, right? I built it. It's mine. I should be able to make money with it. When I see you guys and gals doing the same exact thing, and frankly, catching some moves that I'm missing, that gives me the warm and fuzzies and tells me that I'm accomplishing my goal of building something we can all benefit from. So as always, thank you for all your time and effort. My email is taylor.horton@simplertrading.com. Any questions I missed, feel free to shoot out an email. I've got you covered. And aside from that, have a great Thursday. Finish up strong there tomorrow. And I hope to see you all next week for the Saturday Big 3 Squeeze Masterclass. Thanks again, folks. Have a great night. Be safe. And I'll talk to y'all very soon. Adios.